I got a little project about to start. I got my trailer here, just dragging around with this so I can bring it up to the shop, but this is going to be my little equipment slash kind of makeshift car hauler. This thing is really it's built like a tank. So the only biggest drawback on this is whoever built it is kind of a handmade job, but somebody did do a good job on it. I mean, this thing is at least 6-inch support under here. It's all heavy duty stuff. I mean, this is not a light rig, so it should work great to pull cars, pickup truck, whatever. My tractor, which even with it though, so I have this other trailer. So let me explain what I'm doing. I'm wanting to put winches on everything, but winches are expensive, and a lot of times they just sit out here in the elements and they get messed up. Then you go to use it, and if it's not covered or whatever, wires are corroded, so on and so forth. Solenoids don't work. So what I started doing was, I got done with this not too long ago. So this is just what I usually tow the tractor around with. I can pull cars up on here, but these railings, Jeeps, taller trucks, all that stuff, no big deal. I was even able to, I actually got my brother's pickup over there on here, but I mean, it was like literally, you couldn't sit in it or else it would hit the door. I think you can see like right here. Oh, here it is. So went to open the door and it just, so not the most ideal trailer for that. I used to have a really big, I don't know what it was. I mean, it was a gooseneck, like 28 foot or something, but it was just so big and so heavy. That thing weighed 5,000 pounds, and it was so silly to pull, just that little tractor on there. It was great. Once a year, it was like, man, if I didn't have this trailer, I'd have to, make 2 trips or whatever, but just not worth it. So me and my buddy did some horse trading, and I ended up with that, some money, and, I think that'll be a better fit. Anyway, okay, I'm getting off topic. So I have made a bracket for my winch, so it just plugs right in here. I don't even have the battery on here or anything. I made it to where it's all quick connects. I'm gonna make a little, probably a battery hold down something here, but just a plate, just something with some brackets where I can just pop it in, strap it down, and use it. And it's worked out great. I have it for this. I've used it just trying it out with jumper cables, so I can hook it to the back of my truck here. I'm gonna put in a full power plug that has the cable plug, so you can just plug it in. It'll have power from the batteries up front. Also, this is a winch bumper. You can get the thing that goes underneath where it'll mount, but again, I don't want anything just on here, except, well, I don't know. I've got several winches, but they also sell the receiver hitch that mounts right here. So, but I'm cheap. It's like $130, so I will weld up and make my own with a plate that'll go on there. And so it just comes in so handy to have these winches. This one, I actually put a little hand one. You can run a drill here, and this is for lawnmowers and anything small that or not small, but small enough that you can just hook to that, winch it up here when it's broke. So like this summer, my mother-in-law's lawnmower, 0 turn, that thing, those things are heavier than they look, but I think I looked it up. It's an old Gravely. It's like 700 pounds, but I was able to just hook it to that winch and zip it right up there instead of having to push it and fight with it. But this is my mess, but this is sort of what I come up with. So everything is just mounted on here. I've got my pin there, just pop it in, and the solenoids, everything are mounted on there. I have a wired one, but that box there, so there's another little, I think that's like a 3,500 pound winch, but that little box has the wireless control for this. So I mean, it just makes life 10 times easier with that. But so anyway, plan is I'm gonna do the same thing to this trailer. So I just need to figure out the best way to mount it. Luckily, again, everything on this is pretty heavy duty, and I've got two 9,500 pound winches, but I think one is gonna go, I'll probably put one on in that Jeep in there. I've got another Jeep back there, but anyway, the 5,000 is great because I don't know why everybody thinks you need a 10,000 or 12,000 pound winch, 16,000. Like, I pulled that truck up with that 5,000 pound winch onto that trailer, which is pretty steep. My ramps are short, they're like 3 foot long, so it's like steep incline, and it didn't even, it didn't care. Like, it didn't struggle one bit. But even if it does, I've got pulleys where you can double up. I mean, I don't know, I just don't get it. Everybody acts like you've got to have an 18 million pound winch to pull something on here, which, you know, I'm not pulling a dually on here or anything crazy. So I literally found this. Again, I'm cheap. I was gonna go buy one. I was driving down the road and I saw it on the side of the road. This is one of those 2-inch adapters for, you know, like, I've actually lost one on that truck because it has the 2.5-inch shank. But somebody must have pulled their pin, did like I did, and just drove down the road and it finally fell out. But whatever, I found it. So I'm going to weld that there. I could, obviously I could make a plate here where this box is, but I love having this box here. It's just nice to have, oops, all these, you know, my straps, my boomers, all that stuff. Everything's all there, my chains. So I like this box, so I don't want to leave it, but I don't want to lose it. I'm thinking if I center that there and just bring it out right to the edge, and that way, it's hard to do this with one hand, but let's try it this way. So as long as that's flush with air, maybe even a little bit out so I can put a weld back here, then I should be able to open this box. Yeah, I can open that box all the way and it's not gonna interfere with that. So I think the plan is I'll grind all this down, get the paint off, put it here, and then this part that's sticking out, I'm just gonna make a little triangle gusset to go right in here, just to kind of help keep it from kind of flexing down. Sort of the same thing. I put a strap on the back of that other one, and but also this, so this is all angle iron, but I mean, it's 1/4 inch thick. Like, this is not little thin stuff, and it's got 4 brace bars, so I'm pretty sure that'll handle it. So I'm gonna try to get this kind of cleaned up and get it over to where I can get the welder on it. But I got a bunch of stuff to clean out of the way so I can get it in. But anyway, we'll yeah, get this cleaned up and go from there. All right, so got everything cleaned out just a little bit so I can pull that in here. I wish I had my same setup. My last shop had a pull through, so I could just pull through, set this up, drop it, go, do all the work to my trailer. But here's my, again, the mess is insane, but I'll deal with that later. Right now I want to get this done. So first step, we want that centered. So I'm going to measure across here, find my center point, mark it, and then measure across. I mean, this should be roughly over 2.5, let's say 3 inches across here. So we want to clean all this off to clean metal, and we'll clean this off real good because we'll just repaint everything when we're done. But all right, I'm going to go ahead and mark that, and then we'll jump to the next step. All right, so measured across, had 82 inches. That's our center point, so 41. This is where it hits, is right about here. That's the sides of that receiver. So I'm gonna strip it back to about here, because one, you want it clean, but two, I mean, you can go further. I'm just gonna try to get away with going as far back as I can, but you know, once you lay a bead down across here, this is gonna get hot. More than likely, like, this is all gonna discolor anyway, but you wanna at least just make sure that's cleared back, and that way, you know, if you don't clear it out too far, then you're gonna catch that paint on fire. It's gonna make a mess and stink in here. So anyway, I'm gonna grab the grinder and get that clean back. All right, so just took our cordless grinder. I just had an old flap wheel on here. I mean, it works just fine for taking paint off. You can use whatever you want. I don't know. I mean, a grinding disc, you just got to be careful not to, I try not to take away metal. So you have to really get in there with a flap disc to remove metal, but it takes paint and all that off just fine. You can use a wire wheel, whatever you want, but I find that works good. But you want to make sure you're down to clean base metal. So in fact, you can see here where I really polished it up. I may even come back. So this is probably where we're going to weld, right around here and here. So that looks pretty good. I may even hit it a little bit more. This is an old, this thing is about seen end of its life, but it'll work. And then I am going to put that gusset here, so I'm gonna make sure that's really cleaned off. All right, got it cleaned up pretty good. Down there, right down the middle. I went ahead and I didn't go crazy on the whole thing. There's still a few little divots or rust spots, but the one thing I want to make sure is, so this is where I'm going to be welding to. So here, this other side here, so you can see how it's nice and shiny, and then this will be where we put that gusset. So same thing here. I took care, you know, I was surprised a lot of this stuff manufactured, they'll take the meal scale off and all that, but it was still on this. So I just make sure I cut through all that stuff where I'm going to be welding, and then I will mark the center again and figure out exactly where I want it, and get my square and just square it up. Make sure we're not, you know, last thing you want to do is hook in your winch and find out it's pointing toward that tire. So anyway, I'm going to get that lined up and we'll be back. Okay, so measured this again. This time I got, you know, try to get as close as I can. This doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a hitch on a trailer. So, but it came out to 82 1/8. So I put a dot right here. Let's see if I can focus. 41 1/16. And you can see where I marked the lip of this. That way I could see it, and then I marked the back end lip of this, because we're not going to weld back there. I probably could, like, I could run a bead here, one there, one in the back, put the thing on the front, but I mean, most of the time, you know, you're talking a 2-inch weld on each side. And like, when you do the math on that, if you do it right, I mean, you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds that will hold. Most people just go way crazy and put all these welds everywhere, and it's just not needed. So, I mean, I'm no engineer, but I just don't see the point. So, I mean, it's more likely to bend. That's why I want to gusset this. And basically what I mean by that is I'm going to cut a triangle, something like that, and weld it in the front, and it'll come across here. That'll help some of this deflection, because when you do hook something in the front or in the back of this trailer, it's gonna pull down, like it wants to go down. And so you want to just catch some of that. Now, I'm hoping this rail here is beefy enough that it's not going to want to twist, but we'll deal with that later. So anyway, all I did was mark the backside so I can see it. Come in here with my speed square, rest it on this so it's at a perfect 90, and then basically just bumped it all in here, got my C-clamp. So everything's squared, it's centered, it's ready to go. So now all we got to do is run a couple tacks, then we can pull this C-clamp off and get this welded up. Okay, so we got that all just tacked in. 2 on this side, I got 2 over there. You know, just that way you take the clamp off, you know it's centered, definitely not going anywhere. And then I dug through a little pile of just scrap metal. You know, I recommend if you do any metal work, just, you never know. Like this is just a piece cut off of something, or who knows. It's probably been there for 2 years, but I just hold it up under like this. This is the only square end on it, so it fits perfect. You can see where I marked the line, top and bottom. So I'm just gonna come in and just cut this here and clean this up real good, and then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to tack this in place and get everything where I want it, and maybe even test fit the winch, do a few things. Yeah, I've already opened this. This will open, but just general rule of thumb, you know, make all your tacks. Whoop, my snow's falling off. Do all your tacks, do all your mock-up, and because you can always just cut a tack real quick, or you know, make changes on the fly if you don't like it, or if it doesn't fit right, or whatever. In fact, I was just thinking, I think I may even drill a hole here, because it'll still have plenty of strength. I mean, this is probably over 1/4 inch or close to it. I mean, it's probably the same thickness. Yeah, it's pretty close. But anyway, even with a hole in this, that's going to be more than enough to help keep that from deflecting. But if I have a hole there, that's just one more place to, you know, either say hook a safety chain, so when you have the vehicle on here, you can hook it there, or a tie down or whatever. So you never know. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that. All right, so we took our ugly piece of metal. I just used the cut-off wheel. I've got a plasma cutter over here, but to be honest with you, by the time I grind it and try to get it straight, and I mean, you can cut a pretty straight line with it, but you still got to do some grinder work, and you know, it's much better for bigger stuff. This, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty good with a cut-off wheel. So you just got that there. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that. That's a pretty tight fit. So I'm gonna get that set up in place, get it marked and tacked in, and then we can burn the rest of this in. Oh, and I decided against the hole. I'm just gonna weld it in. It's getting late. I just want to get this done. So I could always drill a hole through it later. Okay, pretty good fit up. I mean, I think it's about even. I'm just eyeballing it. I mean, from the back side of the trailer looking forward, it looks pretty good. I wanted to show you guys these things. So I've got all the angled magnets and all that stuff, but I saw these in a video one day and thought, yeah, I'm gonna order them. So these are adjustable, and they're, I mean, for the size, I mean, they're kind of tiny, but I mean, these things, like, they're, yeah, this table's dirty, but I mean, it's on there pretty good, and you can move this They're a little stiff, which is good because you don't want this just flopping around. But you can take whatever you got. This is just some piece of scrap, but you know, say I want to weld this to a certain angle, I just move it. I can take my other piece and bend it. So you take two pieces, move them together, do whatever. So that's what I did over here. I just moved one side of it to where it fits flush against here, the other one up against there, and you know, fiddle with it back and forth until it's right where you want it, and then you can tack it. Once you put a couple tacks in, then you're good. Pull it off there, and you know, obviously you don't want to just go to town welding on something with a magnet on there. You'll ruin your magnet, but a couple little tacks and then pull it out. So anyway, I just want to show you guys that. I think they're pretty neat. All right, so a couple quick little tacks there. Nothing special, but it'll hold it in. And I noticed I had this up to about 21 volts, but I think this goes up to 24 maybe. .2 at 550 inches a minute, but it's only a quarter inch. It's probably pretty rough, but I definitely want some good penetration on this. I'm gonna do about 22 and a half. $479. I mean, I don't know, don't ask me why, but I played around with this welder. I've had it for a couple years now, and on quarter inch, that's usually more than enough. I mean, it, especially when I first bought this thing, it's got the 220, 110 fixture, or cord that comes with it. And it, 110, I mean, I think at 110 it'll go to like 15 volts or something, which is enough for just little stuff, sticking metal together. And I finally got this 220 wired in, and I've got a big, you know, pretty good size cable, but this thing at 220, this thing really came to life. I mean, it will lay down some weld. So I'm gonna burn one in real quick and see how it goes, and we'll be back. All right, got this top side burned in. I will say I had to clean my ground up. I was having issues. Let's clean this up a little bit. This side went in okay, but you can see where it was like trying to start and stop there in the middle, and then this is just where I went over my tack, so it's a little bit bigger. But I mean, it was going great, and then all of a sudden I noticed it was like the wire was just running into it, and then once it finally got hot again, then it just kept going. But then when I pulled this off, it was arcing against my ground. I thought I had it cleaned up really good, so I've got it cleaned up really good again. And I even took my flap disc and run it across the face or inside of here and just clean it up, because these sometimes get nasty. Let's see, this one actually went down really good. I mean, it just, now I will say that 23 volts I think was just a little hot. I mean, it'll be fine. This ain't, I'm not putting a building together, but I got some undercut in the top, but I'm really not worried about it. Like, it's really burned in there good. It'll hold. So just burn this gusset in, and yep. All right, just gonna do the one side. Actually, it did really well. It's funny because it looks really dirty, but I don't have any pinholes or anything like that. I think what's going on is it's coming up to the right amount of gas, but you can see, I mean, I'm on the end of my bottle. Like, there's, I don't know if you guys noticed that toward the end of the bottle, it really gets dirty. Like, it just looks bad. Anyway, so that's basically it. I mean, I'm only welding the one side of that gusset. There's no reason to do both. I mean, that ain't going nowhere. Let me go grab that winch and pop it in there and see what it looks like. Okay, so here's our results. Like I said, this is just, you pull the pin, pop it in there. I've got all the cables on here with quick connects, and I've got a pretty decent battery over there that I keep on a tender, so it's just ready to go. And yeah, I think that's gonna work. I mean, it feels pretty solid. I may actually, I don't know, depends. I'll probably test it out a little bit and see if it's gonna have much deflection on there, or I may have to either put some more bracing in there or whatever. I don't know, we'll see. I'll play around with it, but at least for now, ooh, I think that'll work. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll think about doing some tests with this too. Just like I said, I just always crack up when people act like these little 5,000 pound, or yeah, I've been amazed. I've got a 2,500 or maybe a 3,500 on this Honda, and it's amazing what they will pull. Again, I've got, I don't know, I've got two 9,500s somewhere. They're in boxes, and you know, I've had them before. They work great, but you can't beat these little 5,000. Plus, it makes this whole package just so much easier to pick up, tote around, throw in the back of the truck bed, throw in the back of this, or, you know, that's another thing. Actually, one time, this setup is just so handy and universal. So I was actually using this to winch up a log that was down there in one of the creek bed at the backside of our property, and it was dragging this. It was dragging the side by side. So I literally I hooked this into the backside of here, ran it out to a tree, hooked it up, and winched it in tight, and was able to drag that thing up no problem after that. So anyway, it's pretty versatile. But yeah, till next time.